Okay. Uh, okay. Early stream today. I'm not going to jump into things right away. I'm just going to kind of do some behind the scenes work until some folks show up. Oh my god, Ruby, what's up? How are you doing? I hope you had a good week. Nice, nice, nice. I was going to well, I have to start early today cuz I got something to do like at 4. So I just wanted to get on the stream earlier so that I'm not missing it 2 times in a row. So glad to see you here despite the change in schedule. It's been a weird couple days. I managed to get down the hill and I cleared it. It really sucked. It's been super hot. I cleared the hill yesterday, and I ended up getting heat stroke. So that sucked. I don't do well in the heat, and I don't do well in the wilderness yet. I'm getting better, but it's not what I was built for. Yeah, I'm better now. I've just been drinking a ton of water. I had a towel on my head all day yesterday after that. But I'm not done going down that hill. And what I was gonna do today, I was gonna start loading some of the footage that I took yesterday onto my computer, and then I can show you kind of what the situation looks like. Oh, I did those ones already. I did that one already. Okay. It makes me feel kind of like lame because it's really not that bad. Like the hill isn't actually that crazy. And I feel like it shouldn't be hard, but I'm struggling. And so, per the title of today's stream, one of the things that I'm realizing, well, I actually realize this every time I do anything, but it's so hard for me to actually change anything about myself in this regard. But I'm like classic overthinker. I overthink literally everything I do. I was just thinking about that today because I was standing behind my house and I have an entryway into the back door of my house and then an entryway into the front door of my house. The back door one goes into the basement where I live and the front one goes through the top floor where my mother-in-law lives. And I just needed to go inside to grab something from the basement. And I recall myself standing in the backyard, going to the basement back door, and then thinking, oh, I shouldn't go this way because I don't even remember the reason why I didn't go that way now that I'm thinking about it. And so then I start walking back around the other direction to go to the front. And then I realize, wait, if I go that way, then I have to take my shoes off because the thing I need is just right in the basement. I don't want to take my shoes off. I did that about 2 or 3 times. before I ended up actually going inside. And so something that a regular person would have done in 5 seconds took me a couple minutes. Um, and it's those kinds of things that I think, like, I don't know what's causing me to make decisions so difficult. But I think this is something that really is what sort of differentiates like really successful people versus people like me. Decision making is I honestly I'm starting to think that decision making isn't about making the right decision, it's about making decisions quickly. And I think people that make decisions quickly will inevitably make a lot more mistakes, but just due to pure volume of making decisions, because sometimes I overthink things so much and I end up not making the right decision anyways. And it doesn't seem like overthinking is actually making my decisions better. It's just fogging my brain up and making things way more difficult. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because like doing this build that I'm working on, this gondola build, I planned I've been planning everything in my head for the last couple weeks on this. Um like down to like how many screws I need and that kind of thing. Like really overthinking how this is going to be done. And then yesterday when I got to the bottom of the hill, it didn't the bottom of the hill, like the opening isn't where I thought it was at all. And I hadn't been down there. I hadn't been down to that part of the property in a few months. And I completely had a totally wrong assumption. What's up? Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna need to come back. Hang on. Okay, so sorry about that. Um, yeah, so I was just saying that um, the bottom of the hill is not what I remember, and I was very confident in what I remembered, but it turns out it's not. So this is what I'm getting at. All of this overthinking, all of this like planning I was doing in my head, kind of useless. And if I was somebody that was just more about just like, okay, here's step one. I just got to do step one, and then we'll plan as we go. I could have been down that hill weeks ago. Um, Now, honestly, I think I really avoided it because I did not want to go down the hill, and that's the reality. Is like I think a lot of the times I use the planning of things to postpone things I don't want to do, despite knowing that it's necessary for me to do that thing. So, um, now it's not all a lost cause. Like I just have to kind of pivot the plan down at the bottom of the hill. Everything that happens up at the top is still fine. But it just goes to show that like the best it seems like the best way to make things happen is to just start doing them. Just start doing things. And now the other issue is the reason why this is hard for me is because when making a video, I try and think of like how these shots are going to look all the time. And in this case, I wanted to make sure I got every shot I wanted to before I actually started clearing the way, because I wanted to have shots of the path uncleared first, and then make sure I got every shot I needed with that uncleared path before I started clearing the path, because once I clear the path, I can't get those shots anymore. So that was sort of a lot of my excuse for not doing it. And now thinking about it now, it's almost like, would the video have really suffered if I didn't get those shots? If I didn't get those shots, I probably still would have had a fine video, and I could have been down that hill way quicker. Um. So, anyways, as you can tell, I'm struggling with sort of my internal self, struggling with my methods, and I do think like being able to sort of plan these things ahead of time is a strength to an extent, but I lean on it as an excuse to postpone things that I don't want to do. And that is hopefully a good realization that will hopefully help me get better at speeding things up, because when it comes down to it, that is my biggest issue. Is I'm so slow. I'm so slow at everything. It's not just making videos. I'm slow at like I was saying with that trying to get into the house today situation. It took me way too long to just do like the simplest thing. And it's because I overthink things. So I think the problem is I've come to this realization a million times before. It's not like this is a new revelation. Um, but now I'm thinking that at least talking about it and putting it out there, it's now going to kind of give me a level of accountability moving forward. Every time I think about every time I'm overthinking a decision, I'll try and remember this moment and sort of be like, okay, people know I do this now. I need to not do this so much. Um, and that I've I've always sort of felt like decision making was my biggest weakness. Um, Good leaders make decisions quickly. They don't necessarily make decisions. They don't have to be right every time. Um, and like you say, more mistakes equals is more learning. And that's an interesting thought too, because when I look at sort of like the trajectory of my life, like I haven't made a lot of mistakes. Um, I've generally been pretty like mistake free. Like I don't hurt myself a lot. Um, I haven't made impulsive decisions that actually cause like real damage a lot, like at all. Um, but as a result, I'm like scared of those things, right? I'm scared of impulsive decisions that could hurt me or hurt other people, which is a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think the reality is without making decisions quickly, trying to find the best solution and perfect it before even starting. Exactly. And like I think that's really useful in certain scenarios where like the risks are high. You want to be able to avoid those types of things. But it's gotten to the point where it's almost like every decision I make during the day has some massive stakes, which they just don't. Um, and what's ironic is me talking about this right now is kind of me doing this. Um, but I'm hoping to kind of put this to bed a little bit. And I'm hoping to use this as a bit of like a bookmark on hopefully the an actual point of change. Because it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. It shouldn't have taken me this long to get down that hill. And it absolutely sucked. It's not like I ended up going down there and realizing it was amazing. It was not fun, and um, but there's no level of planning that could have really made that better. Uh, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm just trying to download these videos to my computer now, so I can show you sort of a little bit of the landscape that we're dealing with here. Um, Unfortunately, there's so much. Okay, wait. Oh, that's already imported, so we want to import these ones. I'm very confused with how. I try and okay. Excuse me. Oh, my back. Ah. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not like revealing any personal information. Yeah, I would be if I'm doing this. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go like this, and then I can just pull the shots down. So this is what the hill looked like before I started. I was trying to do like a dolly zoom shot here. Didn't really work out. But right down there is where I ended up clearing. And let me see if I have a better sort of look at this. Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. So this was a nice little moment. I actually scared myself because I was filming and I didn't notice the deer and it scared me. I thought it was a dog. Yeah, the view's great. Um the view is great. And let's see what happens here. Okay. I'm just trying to find a shot. Oh, yeah, okay. So this is me. This is me trying. This is me just starting to get down the hill. So, um, those last shots were from up here, and so I made it down. It doesn't look that steep on camera, is the thing. And this is the building I'm currently sitting in right now. Um, it doesn't look that steep, but it was. Um, I'm. This is just me getting started. I have this stupid hairnet thing. It's originally supposed to go right over my face. Um, it was 60 degrees. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the temperature. I was like, that's um yeah. I don't know. I should probably actually figure out what the actual slope is because that's probably pretty useful. I don't know what this video is. Oh yeah, so these branches were part of the part. These ones were the ones that were basically right in the way. Nothing interesting in that video. And it's like undulating, right? Like it changes. Yeah, so just clearing through here with some hedge trimmers. Um, and then do I have a shot of like it basically being cleared? Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, this is what the bottom looks like. So what you can see here, this is our service road that goes down here. Because our well is somewhere is like down here. It's like way over though. Um, so this is a service road for whatever reason. And then once you get to the bottom of the service road, there's this big open area. I thought the big open area was right here, but it's not at all. Um, which isn't that big of a deal because my gondola system's going over the service road up at the top of the hill by the cottage, anyways. So I just need to make it so I can drop the cable when I need to get down there, and literally we go down there with a vehicle once every couple years, maybe. Um, so it's not that big of a deal. If I can just like loosen the cable and drop it to the ground and just drive over it, that's totally fine. The issue is I don't even know. I've never even stepped foot in the area past the road, so I don't even know what's there. I don't even know what the ground looks like. My original plan was to, do some sort of concrete footing or whatever to erect the tower that has the landing. And I don't know what I don't know what's down here. I've never actually stepped foot here. And I didn't go there because as soon as like it doesn't really look like it, but where I'm standing, there's a big drop right down onto the road here, and then there's an even bigger drop down into that lower area. So um, it's it's going to require a little bit of a revamp on what I do. I'm thinking maybe we like I'll use posts in the ground. I really don't want to have to bring concrete down here is the thing. And like do like such an almost like invasive thing. I feel like I could just do it with posts and proper supports and maybe even using like a tree or two to sort of hold it into position. Not really sure. So, um I got to work on that. Now the thing is I did clear the way, right? So it's mostly clear. Yo Rosenberg, how's it going? Um Rosenberg, this is the stuff I filmed where um I was really reluctant to do it, and then I tuned into your stream. Um, so I cleared this. This was all bush, and I cleared the path down. Um, I still have to do a little bit of clearing because now that I'm down here, I'm seeing there's still some bushes, some like little branches in the way and stuff. Um, today, so when I came down here, I was so exhausted and I forgot to bring. I was gonna tie a string up at the top and bring it down with me so that I could so I can actually the goal here now is to measure the actual length of cable that I need, and it's going to go all the way down here. And I I didn't bring the string with me, and I didn't even go all the way down yet. I still have to go all the way down. Um so today I didn't want to walk down there. So um I didn't want to walk down there again today because it was so hot and I actually got heat stroke. Um, so I didn't want to do that again today. I just wanted to kind of take it a little bit easy. So I tried tying the string up at the top here, and then my goal was to get down there and just throw this wrench. There's Dusty. I was trying to throw this wrench all the way down, um, but I wasn't even getting close. So instead, I tried this. Tried to use my compound bow and tied the string to the arrow. And long story short, that did not work at all. The string kept getting tangled. I ended up getting it kind of far down, like almost to where I was standing. Um, but not quite. So ultimately speaking, I gotta still go down there and pull the string. It didn't work. Um, so I need to pull. This ladder here is where the bull wheel, so the main wheel at the top that drives the whole thing, is gonna be, and so I got to go all the way. I think it's cool. I like that. I like that the spool is here. Um, it so yes, it would have taken less time. Um, but uh, I didn't want to do it. I was so I was so like sick of being in that area. And I know this just sounds like super lame of me and like I live on a farm, I should be totally fine with just walking through bush and stuff. Um, this is obviously, it's a whole, like, there's deer down here and stuff, so the chance of tick encounters is super high. I've cleared it now, so it is a lot less, and I can actually probably walk down there without like a ton of gear on. Um, super valid reason, yeah. I could have done it. I just shooting this arrow today, and maybe it's because like I overheated so hard yesterday, but just setting this up and shooting this arrow today, I was already like so done being outside. And I will admit, I could have just woken up earlier when it wasn't so hot. Um, but I was so exhausted yesterday, and I ended up sleeping so long last night. I woke up at like 9:30 today, which is crazy. Um, so this was just me, I was just kind of like seeing if I could get away with not going down there, because once the rope is all the way down there, this road I can drive down there and go and pick it up. It's hot. It's 30s right now. Um, it's 30s, but it honestly, I think I don't know what happened. Like, I enjoy warm weather, but working in it is rough. And I had a full, here I can show you actually, Rosenberg. I was showing Ruby earlier. I had a full get up because of the tick thing, but also it was sort of a bit of a gag. I wanted this to kind of be funny. So I had this whole coveralls thing and this stupid hat hair thing, which honestly made me feel really safe in regards to like bugs and ticks, which I don't like. Um, but you can like, I'm like exhausted, and I've only gone down a little bit, and I'm already exhausted at this point. So that being said, all that being said, um, I yeah, and I was just telling Ruby, like, I overthink things a lot, and I do it to avoid things. And ironically, the bottom of the hill where this clearing opens up, it's not where I thought it was. I haven't been down that hill, even taking the service road, the nice easy way down there. I haven't been down that road in months. And even then, I was only down there for a second, a few months ago, and I thought the bottom of that area was completely different than it actually is. So, I kind of all this planning ahead and overthinking it is a little bit unfortunate, because I'm gonna have to change things anyways. Now that the bottom is like totally different than I expected. But yeah, it gets super hot. That's the thing that kind of sucks about where I live, and it's great to an extent, but it gets, for like 90% of the year, it's either insanely cold and I don't want to be outside, or it's insanely hot and I don't want to be outside. It's rarely like that perfect temperature. So, and when it's hot, like I have like the worst allergies to the outside. Like I'm not necessarily built to be living in this rural type of land. Um, I was born in the city, raised in the city, kind of a hypochondriac, which is what this whole video is probably going to end up being about. Um, but I want to be here. I don't want to live in the city. I want to live more self-sustainably. I want to be able to I was a skater boy too. I want to be more in tune with nature and stuff like that. That's what I want to do. I'm just bad at it right now. So yeah, I need to go down there. I'm gonna go down there later today when it's cooler. The reason I started streaming earlier, I've got to do something at 4, so um, I'll have to leave probably at 3 or something. So I just wanted to make sure I was getting a stream in because I missed it on Wednesday. And honestly, these streams make me feel like I'm making progress in a really good way. So I wanted to maintain that. Um, these are becoming pretty important. Right now it is 1:14 p.m. So this is peak heat time. Cottage is nice and cool though. So it kind of sucks because it's so bright out. And hey, Tin Talon, good to see you. It makes me feel like I should be working outside, but it's so warm. And like, yesterday I was outside for too long and it ended up ruining the whole afternoon for me. So there's a lot I need to do on computer and inside that I can work on when it's this hot, and then I'll go back out when it gets cooler. And basically, once I get that string all the way down, I'm gonna pull it taut. I'm gonna kind of see, because one of the big sort of questions I have is, have I made enough of a clearing that the two ropeways are going to be able to actually get through without hitting a branch or anything. And it's not a big deal. I can always trim things back and stuff if it's not. But I'm hoping to do the least amount of clearing as possible, because it sucks. Really, the big thing is it just sucks to go down there. And but then once I sort of figure that out, I will mark the string, and then I can actually measure the length and figure out how much cable I really need before I order it. Yeah, I think so too. And it's definitely more effort than I thought. And I will admit, I did pivot to this idea thinking it's actually, like, from an engineering perspective, like the actual build, pretty simple. I did not anticipate having this much trouble with the landscaping side of it. I did not anticipate the apprehension I was going to be dealing with personally. Like, I woke up today knowing I had to get that string down there, and like I've just been trying to find different ways of doing it without just walking down there, which honestly, like Ruby said, would have taken me like 10 minutes to get down there. But then I had to have to get up. And getting up is the part that sucks. Yeah. Yeah, and it is one of those things where it feels kind of bad. Like, I have a level of perseverance that lets me do things that most people wouldn't do. But it is very specific, and a lot of the times there are little factors that I avoid, like the plague, and this is kind of one of them. And just knowing that this is for a video that I have no idea how well it's going to do really makes it a lot harder to do this. And again, I was not anticipating this. I honestly thought, okay, you know what, let's just do something that, for one, is going to be really easily packageable for YouTube. Two, it's going to hopefully actually be useful. But three, it'll just be fun to do. But I haven't really hit the fun part yet. But I actually have been having so much fun with the planning of the actual video. And I think this video is going to be probably my favorite video to film because there's, and this is something that I've realized sort of about this YouTube in general is I've been really stubborn. Um, so like I have a few YouTube buddies and we all talk YouTube. And I always wanted to do YouTube because there's like I just wanted to explore ideas and make things. And I want to inspire other people to make things and explore creativity in engineering and in music and in filmmaking. Um, but I've been really stubborn about the specific ideas, and I've been sort of thinking like, okay, it's gotta be. I don't want to do videos based on just the thumbnail and title. And this is what like pretty much every YouTuber that is trying to do YouTube for a career understands. Like the thumbnail and title is so important. Unless you have some like recurring, like very consistent show with a format, um, you need to kind of fit. You need to kind of like get people to click the video, and I've been really stubborn about that, and I've been sort of thinking of the ideas first and then thinking like, okay, I can figure out how to make these concepts that interest me into strong videos. And while I still think that's possible and I still want to be able to do these more like super niche ideas, um kind of like doing this idea has opened my eyes quite a bit about like when you have an idea that is super visual from the packaging right off the bat, all of a sudden the rest of the video kind of comes together in a similar way. At least so far is what I'm feeling about this video. And so like the visual aspect of this video is going to be so much more fun to make because the thumbnail and packaging of it all is already such a visual thing that it makes I don't have to constantly find ways to make it visual. It's like the fact that it is a good thumbnail and title is making it really easy to write a script and build the thing in a way that's going to be super highly visual. Um, totally, and it's I was told this from the get go, and I was really stubborn about it. And a lot of the time, it's like since working on this video, I've been kind of kicking myself, thinking like I should have just done this from the beginning. And again, this video isn't out yet. I don't even know if this video is going to do well. I just feel like it is, but I've felt like that with every video. Um, so but I have thought like, man, I should have just been focusing on the thumbnail on ideas that are highly packageable from the get go. Um, but I think the reality is I needed to sort of go through this gauntlet myself because I would have always wondered, could I have just done these more niche things and had a better chance? Um, but after doing this for a few years, I'm realizing like these niche things are cool and a lot of people like them, but it's they require too much foreknowledge to click on the video. Essentially, it requires too much it requires too much niche understanding to actually see the image and cause the brain to go like, oh, start asking questions and basically incentivize the click. So that's why I have this. This is my new um, background because this is sort of like, this column is how I've been doing videos, and this column is sort of how I'm trying to think about the videos moving forward. So, and the big thing is the viewer onboarding. So this is basically my videos. There was a high there was a high requirement for the viewer to understand the thumbnail before they actually wanted to click it, versus a concept first idea, which is a 6-year-old and a grandmother instantly understand the premise within like a fraction of a second. Um, and but yeah, the interesting thing about this, because I always felt like if I have to do that, then like what's even the point of having a niche on YouTube if I'm just gonna make videos that are the most clickable? Isn't this just gonna be like every other successful? Isn't this gonna be like every other YouTube video out there? Um, but what I've sort of been experiencing through the initial phases of this video is that it's actually it's actually been quite freeing from a creative perspective to work on a video like this, because of the stuff I was saying earlier. Like just the fact that it's visual as a thumbnail means the visuals within the video are also like just coming together. I don't have to work at it so hard to make it a visual thing. And like the story comes together in the same way, and like the creative things I can do with the video are have opened up way better than when I was trying to do these super niche things. So, and I guess this is more like, if I'm trying to go for more of like a general audience entertainment niche, which ultimately speaking, that is sort of what I'm going for. Like I don't consider myself an authority. Like I'm not like a Steve Mould or a Veritasium. I don't consider myself um nearly intelligent enough to have like this. I don't want my channel to be like a repository of knowledge. I want it to be a repository of inspiration and like just like fun and exploration. So going the entertainment route makes the most sense. It's gonna allow me to be way more flexible with what I do and way more creative with how I'm doing the videos and maybe the things that I'm building. Um, so and we'll see. This video could totally flop. You never know. Um, it is a bit of a risk because it's a little bit off niche. It's still engineering, um, but it's yeah, like with the it's not really like a specifically a 3D printing video or specifically a music video. So we'll see. But I don't think that's as big of an issue right now, in terms of like how the algorithm handles sort of like going out of your niche a little bit. Um, so I'm just taking a look at something quickly here. Speaking of being really like making excuses for, just had some notifications and gondola music for noise. I'm writing a song for this video. It's gonna be kind of like the reveal song. So I'll stream the recording of that song once I get to that point. Um, definitely kind of like it's got to be a bigger moment of the video. Um, it's gonna be the dumbest song ever, but that's exactly what I want to have that freedom. Um, because I like doing dumb stuff a lot of the times. Like I like doing some serious stuff, but I like Jurassic Park interesting. I was thinking like it's gonna be sort of Beatlesy. Um, Yeah, I was thinking about doing it like epic, but I'm almost a little quirky thing could be good too. Um, yeah, we'll see. That I think what I want to do is I don't want to spend too much time on the song, so I'm definitely like I'm not going to do any of the 3D printed instruments and stuff like that. I'm just going to try and do it the fastest way possible. Um, and I just want it to be, but I don't know. Maybe I could use it. Um, I am going to come back to this pedal because there's some options coming up now for me to be able to actually make metal parts for it. Oh, let's get you out of here. I yeeted him. I yeeted him. Um, I feel like one good sign about this video. So this is the other thing. One indication of how niche my previous videos have been is they're most of the people, most of my like family and friends that know I'm doing this YouTube stuff and I show them the video, they don't actually watch them. They just go like, this looks really good. This looks like a good video. Good job. But it's not videos that any of them actually really watch, which is fine. And I'm not expecting my family and friends to watch them. There's obviously like a couple, like my dad watches every single one in high detail because he's like core audience. But he you know he really wants to understand all this video stuff as well. But most of the people, most of my friends and family have no idea what I'm even talking about in most of these videos, which is totally understandable. But one interesting indication for this video is I was just at a shop in town looking at like the price of the cable and stuff, and I mentioned what this was gonna be, and the response from this shop owner was very, very positive, and he was laughing and thought it was hilarious. And you know, if I went into the store and explained any of my other videos, except for maybe the 3D printed song one, that one's a pretty like easy thing to explain in a second, but this gondola thing, it just makes, I feel like it just makes anybody's mind turn as soon as I mention that it's like a 250-foot gondola for mice. Immediately people start imagining it and thinking about which one, the 3D printed instruments one? Yeah, that was the reason I did it. Um, and I think prior to that, I didn't do any. I actually don't remember what was I doing on YouTube prior to that. Oops. Because that was the first time I actually like dove into a specific music based video. Oh yeah, prior to that it was all about the lighting rig stuff, and then just like I would try videos that weren't lighting rig videos and they would all suck. They would all just totally bomb. And then the 3D printed instrument one actually did okay. And then it's been kind of a focus on instruments and 3D printing, but this is the sort of my thinking with all this stuff. Oh, I'm so glad. And that's the third 3D printed song I did. Um, I think that one's my favorite too. That one's like the most. I think that was the most rewarding song. But that's the third one I did. There's two more before that. Um, One of them did like kind of equally as good, and then one of them bombed. To an extent, it didn't do that great. But the 3D printed instrument thing, despite being a very clear idea and a very strong concept, visually there's like no good way to visualize it. And I know it's like it seems like there would be, but I've done 3 videos now and tried to make that concept immediately clear in a single thumbnail, and it is so hard. And I feel like I've tried everything. So that is the issue with like this more music related stuff. Meanwhile, you look at like a Matthias Krantz video where he makes the guitar with the spinny neck thing. And I just saw somewhere today that he literally designed that for the thumbnail. And that obviously that video's got like 12 million views or something like that. And so it just goes to show, like, even if the concept is clear, there has to be a really strong visual aspect to it for it to be to truly take off. Yeah. Yeah, he's a great content creator, and he is extremely smart and um, clearly understands how the algorithm handles packaging and stuff like that. So I definitely want to focus on keeping things. I want to, I obviously want to do well, and I want to stop being so stubborn about, because the thing is, it's not like I'm losing anything by doing this. This mouse gondola idea is something I was about to do anyways, regardless. I wasn't even going to make a video about it initially, but realizing the potential for it from a packaging perspective is the reason why this video has become the next video, the one I'm currently working on, because any other idea I had either struggled in the concept or in the visuals. And like, I have yet to put a video out where I feel like the packaging is actually like really strong from the get-go. So we'll see. We will see. I gotta go to the bathroom really quick, and then I'm gonna be back. And I think I'm gonna start. Oh yeah, I'm gonna print some stuff, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun with it. But I'll explain in a minute. One sec. Have a good night, Rosenberg. Stomach's growling. I gotta eat something. Okay, so right. So we're gonna do some modeling here, but it's not. I'm not gonna worry about the gondola right now because we kind of worked on that quite a bit in the last little while. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of insight into what one of the big shots for this video. So, um, basically, the whole intro of this video is gonna be the first couple seconds is a shot of the gondola, and it'll zoom in on a little mouse inside the gondola, and I will over voiceover say I hate mice, and the whole intro is about how mice are spreading disease and I don't want them here. So that's obviously the motivation, and then I mention how having these mice around, uh, it's preventing me from, or it's making me want to like it's making me concerned to go into different parts of my property and stuff like that. So, as far as I'm concerned, this feels like war. And like I mentioned before, this I kind of want this to like have fun with sort of the war tropes in films. And so one of the big ones that I want to focus on is having the big strategy topographical map table thing where I have little game pieces essentially of the different players, and but I need to have like hundreds of little mice pieces because I want to show that these mice are everywhere, but they concentrate around the places in my property. And I want to, and I mentioned how like the normal way to deal with mice is to eliminate them, and so I want to make it so that when I mention that I eliminating them as an option, I want to smash them with a hammer. So I need to design little mouse pieces, little icons essentially that would that I can just pepper throughout this whole game board, and then they have to be fragile enough that when I smash them with a hammer, they explode. So I want to make, I don't know, I'll print literally like 100 or like 200 of these because they'll be small. I'm thinking like this big, and I want them to kind of sit in a way that I can sort of dump them on the table. I don't want to have to like place each one perfectly. And then obviously I want to have that stick where I can push the pieces to different parts of the board to show like strategy or whatever. So hang on. I forgot to see if any of this is. I'm just going to clear these tabs because. Okay, so. What am I looking for? I guess like cartoon mouse. Or maybe like mouse SVG. So I'm thinking like kind of like this sort of thing. Oh, maybe Maker World just has. I mean that's funny. I just need like the simplest little, like these guys. Cute Minnie Mouse whimsical tabletop figurine and just like smash them. But those will take too long to print. I want to print like 1,000 of these super fast. Oh, I don't know if you can hear my stomach. It is growling right now. so I want to do it simpler. Simpler than this. Like, that's pretty simple, but I want to go even simpler than that. So let's kind of model this up. How big do I want it? I want them like maybe like 20 mils tall. Or even like 10 mils tall and like yeah, maybe 10 by 20. So kind of like that. And then maybe wait, did that just change? Oh, no. Okay, we're good. I want it to be cute, I guess. And so this is kind of what I was talking about, how like doing this idea is like simple enough that I can really play with how I'm going to visualize all of this, because I can have a lot of fun with it. And instead of just talking the whole time, because this is actually something I get criticized in my videos about quite a bit, is like, why do you just talk the whole time? Why don't you just um, show don't tell, basically. So I'm really focusing on that for this video. I just want, because at the end of the day, like, I do love the filmmaking aspect of YouTube, and I want to be better at that. Symmetric bodies. And then what if I just filleted all these, like, quite hardcore? Oh. I think I made this front circle a little too small. Can I just... Why? I need this to look cute. I need this to look cute. But simultaneously cute and like strategic looking, you know? I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work. That looks dumb. That looks dumb. Okay, let me try something else. Let's maybe start with a circle here. And a circle here. Maybe we go like this. And then we go like this. Tangent. Oops. Okay. And then I do a line like this. And then, just out of curiosity, what happens if I revolve this around this line? Okay, I can't do that. But if I trim this and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, Then I revolve this. Boom, 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 boom. Around this axis. Kind of funny. Just bear with me for 1 second. One second, please. Please. I just need it to be. You know what I mean? I want him. I think I want him chubbier, though. I think I want him chubbier, though. Let's go 15. Oh! Can I go 12 without it really messing everything up? No. What do we think? What do you think about that? And then printing this, I would print it with like maybe two shell thicknesses and like 0% infill, or maybe like 1% infill, so that it's super hollow. So when I smash it, it explodes. And you can picture like 100 of these on the table. It can be maybe yellow. Oh no, not yellow, because like I might do blue. Because I'm gonna draw the map on some brown, like basically like butcher's paper or whatever, or so they need to stand out against the paper. Honestly, I could even do them in white, but you know, just something that somewhat resembles a mouse. But it looks like something that like you know, some war general would have carved out of wood or something, because that's the scenario. What do we think? Is that good enough? I think I want his like nose to be a little bit more. Oh, it does not want to do that. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Never mind. Nope. Never mind. So yeah, I want to print like a bunch of these. Let's see. Save as mesh. Let's go desktop, new folder, mouse, gondola, prints. Call this model mouse. Okay, hang on. I do have blue there. I don't have a lot of blue. Don't have a lot of blue. Maybe I'll just do white because I have so much white. So let's go to the H2D, I guess. Yeah, I got white loaded there. I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. Um, and then quality. Wait, strength. Wall loops. Can I do one with 0% infill? Is that going to actually print? Ooh. And what I can do is bottom shell. Maybe I'll do 2 layers, because it'll still smash with a hammer if I do 2 layers, right? You know what? Let's try one. I don't even care. Let's try one. Let's just go for it. So yeah, because the idea is I'm gonna print like so many of these, so I want them to be very low material usage. 0.57 grams is pretty good. And I want to have, they got to be smashable. And that's basically the only model I'm actually going to print, I think, for this game board. It's only 2. Okay, so while that's printing, let's take a look at the gondola for a second now. So one thing I've realized is I need this arm to stick out further. And I want a better way to attach it to the actual gondola. And I want to do it in a way that I can attach the gondola to the arm without really touching the gondola. Like ideally, I can bring the arm to the gondola to pick the gondola up and then stick the arm onto this. That's like the ultimate solution. I've been thinking a lot about how I'm going to grip onto this cable as well. I don't have a perfect solution yet. But I do think something kind of like this. So like if this is kind of sticking out like that far-ish. And then I can have mounting points maybe here and here that I can just like hook the arm into. And then up here, some way that I can just like slide this on really reliably would be great. But it's got to be done in a way that the jostling, like wind and stuff, and going through the wheels and everything, it's not going to knock this off. So it's got to be a really solid connection. But ideally I do it so I don't have to touch this with my hands, because this will be covered in mice matter. And I don't, that's the whole point of this whole thing, is I don't want to be touching these mice. do so I don't have to touch this. But it clips on good. And so basically the arms will stick, or the arms will just stay on the gondola at all times, and I pull them off the gondola to go and retrieve, or I pull them off the cable to go and retrieve the gondola, and then I can hold on to this and stick it back on the cable without ever having to touch this thing. I can print this guy as well because I can just do it on its back. Thinking. Almost just like a claw. But we're going to we'll be dealing with layer line weakness. Oh, but let's say I do something like this. So we can maybe have here, we can have some screws. Let's just go with quarter 20. That's sort of my go-to. You know, we can do that, and then I'm just going to model in some rods that will eventually be 1/4 20 screws, but how many inches is that? 4 inches? Oops. You know, I can just have these screws in there at all times and have little hooks that grab onto that. Give me 1 second. Okay, I mean, that's pretty good. It's a good little mouse. Right? Am I wrong? This little guy's nice. And like strength wise, oh, it's pretty strong. How is this strong? Let me smash it with a hammer. Do I have a hammer in here? I don't even think I have a hammer in here. What about this hammer? I don't have a hammer in here, but I think it'll smash. I think this will smash real good. Look at him. I like him. It is remarkably strong for being 1 layer thick. It is 0.6 mil. Oh, I guess I can try it on the HTC and then we'll just see what like a 0.4 mil one would do. Why am I getting this? What is with this? Support? No. Okay, so this should be the same, right? Strength, yeah, 1, 0. This looks good. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this little guy. Okay. So yeah, you know, I could even have it so like let's go 15 probably. That's probably how big it is. You know, assuming I have this kind of thing. Right? Like you can imagine this is a screw. And that's the head. And then I just have a thing on here. Oh. Okay, the only issue with this, yeah, I remembered something. I want to try and make it so that I'm printing the whole gondola on this face here. So I don't want to actually put a lot of stuff on the top, and I'll make it so this just clips in. This little cover piece just clips in after the print, but this has to be flat on the surface. So instead of the mount being on the top, maybe I make the mount down here somewhere. I actually move this whole thing. This somehow clips in like that. You know what I mean? And then I just have some geometry in here that holds the screw in so that when I actually grab it on, it stays for the most part. But yeah, it's just not gonna. I'll have to think about this. Um, and then likewise, I need something up here that this hooks onto that isn't going to fall off during the trip. And so essentially there's going to be a rod that sticks out and then this clips on. I could just have a nut essentially. But I don't think that's the best way to do it. Honestly, I think I could do this with a keyhole, right? And maybe I do the same at the bottom. Maybe keyhole is the way. So I go like this. Project this. We go like this. We go 1/4 inch. Maybe I offset this by 0.2. And then I have below, this one can be like a 15 mil hole. And then I go from here straight down to there. I go from here straight down to there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And now I just hook it on. And the head of the nut, which is attached to whatever is here, we'll just key in there. That allows it to swing and pivot, but it is literally just a really easy thing. We can do that so that it's like really hard to mess up. I think that might be the way to go. And I can even get a bolt where the thread stops and then it's just like a raw shaft so that this doesn't grind away over time. I like that. And honestly, can we just replicate that on this? Can we just replicate that here? I think we can, right? I think we take this, extrude this out 4 mils, make it a new body. Oh, we can do more than 4. Let's go like 8 mils. Like that. Let's get rid of this. Boom. Let's get rid of this. Boom. Let's get rid of this. Boom. Right, and then we have this frame piece. It would be so much easier, actually, if I did just have a little thing on the top. It would look so much better. If I had that little key thing here. It would look so much better if I did that. Okay, we'll think about that. And then in terms of this whole connection point, we need something like that, but at this point, so I need some way to connect to this string with some sort of clamp or something that I can really easily. I was honestly thinking about using a zap strap. And I still feel like that might be the way to go. A zap strap would be pretty darn simple. Oh, let's check out our other mouse. Okay, this looks better, and I can feel it's ready to break if I were to smash this. So I think 0.4 mil nozzle is the way to go on these. These look cute. I like these. These little micey, little mousies. Okay, so that's success. That's us just doing stuff, not thinking about it too much. We're just doing stuff. And again, on this one, let's kind of approach it the same way. So let's say I wanted to create a way to clamp this to the string that basically provides the least amount of additional bump to the actual string. That's why a zap strap is kind of attractive, because you just zap strap it on, and the zap strap is a pretty low profile. The thing is that there's going to be a wheel on the top, there's going to be a wheel on the bottom, and there's going to be a wheel on the side at any given point throughout the travel. So, I can't have a big thing that bumps out up here because the wheel at the top will interact with that. I can't have a thing that bumps out this way because this wheel will interact with that. And I can't have a big thing that bumps out underneath because there's going to be a wheel under there at some point. So realistically, how do I do this? And we were talking the other day about just using like kind of like a metal cable strap thingy, um, which might still be the option. And I can just go to a hardware store and see what they got. But I do want to consider the options here. I do want to consider my options here because an 1/8 of an inch. Where's my cable that we spliced the other day? Don't know where it is. An 1/8 of an inch is pretty thick, actually. And I can go a little bit thicker. What can I do? And yeah, I need this distance. Like, I can't bring this cylinder right up to the cable because the wheels that this cable will be riding on at certain points are going to stick out to some extent, like probably like that much. So I need to have a low profile, like, yeah, literally just like a metal bar that sticks out of this would work great. I'll have to think about that. I'm really happy with this, though. I think this is going to work fantastically. Um, because let's just imagine we have our 1/4 inch here, and then we extend this out. So this will be a screw, right? Like that. And then I'll use I guess like just a hex head, but I'm not going to model a hex head. I'm just going to draw. It's probably 14. Oops. You know, it'll just be like that. And then this just hooks on. And that's not going to fall off. It's going to have, it would have to have a pretty significant bump to fall off that. And it would have to be a bump and also a slide this way. That works well. And this is a zero tool, zero like tightening. I literally just pop it on and we're good. So I need this. I need a similar thing down here, ideally in a way where I can still print this flat. Ideally in a way where I could still print this flat. Have this be the flat surface. Now theoretically, let's get rid of this. Right? And I like how thick this is. I feel like that provides a lot of rigidity. Because the key to this working is this doesn't flex out. If this is allowed to flex out, this will kind of hang at a bit of an angle. We want this to hang as straight as possible. So we don't want any flex here. Oh, we also don't want flex up here either. So that could be an issue with this whole thing. That could be an issue with this whole connection point, is it might allow this whole thing to flex. Hard to say. Hard to say. I'm gonna have to model it up first, or I'm gonna have to like actually make this thing. Because what I was thinking is if this is sitting out past this point, it's like right here, we could theoretically just lift this whole nonsense up like this. Combine these two. Move the door up to there. And then and then have the holes in there. That could work. And then we can hollow it out in the bottom so we're not actually using that much material to do this. That could work. It looks good. I can make it look better, like around those edges, but that's an option. I think ideally, for this to work properly, the screws that come through here would have to surpass the center point. So it would have to sit like out here. And so that means some pretty long screws. And that is a lot of torque on all of this, on this whole thing. So I don't know about this yet, but and realistically, I think the end goal will be with all of these pieces probably sitting a little bit beyond, a little bit past the center point here. But we're going to have to find that balance. So I am going to. I gotta grab some food. I'm starving. Um, and then I gotta go do my thing later. So I think we'll call it here. Um, might jump on stream this weekend. We'll see. But I will definitely be back on Monday. And I think we're gonna start printing stuff. We're gonna start building this thing. I'm gonna try and I want to try and order the parts tonight. So hopefully they show up pretty soon, and we can actually start constructing this thing. Um, so that's where I'm at. I hope you guys are still feeling good about this whole thing. I know I am going through a bunch of phases. Um, Constantly sort of switching between like super stoked about this and like really worried about it and like not feeling great about it. Um, but I think ultimately speaking, uh, this is going to be a pretty cool thing. So we'll see. We will see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyways, um, great. I'll talk to you guys. Have a good weekend, everybody. And we'll definitely see you Monday, if not sometime this weekend. And we'll start making some big progress.